Hello everyone and welcome back to our RE community learning sessions. My name is Mrs. Smith and this is session 5 of 10. So if you haven't already completed sessions 1, 2, 3 and 4, then please go back and do them first before joining in our session today. Now, today we are going to continue developing our learning about community and how it fits in with different religions, different worldviews, and what we can learn from different faiths and worldviews about community. Now, I wonder, can you think back to last session when we were thinking about commitment, that very big word commitment, and about how Sikhs show commitment through joining the Khalsa and making some promises to show their commitment. Now, I put that on my helping hand, my little helping hand that's getting us through our community learning, our prompts and reminders of all our learning that we want to remember. So I've put the word commitment on that finger there, and I've written that it's demonstrated through actions and through making promises. And I particularly remember the fact that we talked about, does commitment to God show a different way of commitment, and how that makes a difference for those who maybe belong to a religious group. Now, I wonder if you've had a chance to talk about commitment to the people in your house and how that makes a difference when living in community. Maybe you have. So today we're going to continue learning about the Sikh community, and especially on how Sikhs show, this is a word that I think we all need to learn today. Sikhs show equality, and we'll unpick what that means later, but we're learning about how Sikhs show equality in their community and how that helps everyone to live in community. So what you'll need today, let me show the screen with you. You will need 2 pieces of paper today. At least 1 pen or pencil, colours if you'd like, and then keep hold of that helping hand, because that is a really good journey showing us all the different reflections that we are having about all that learning that we're doing. Okay, we're going to start with pause here to go and get those items if you haven't got them already. Okay, we're going to start with a game today. Now, it's a game called Would You Rather. Just going to stop sharing the screen. Now, Would You Rather is a fantastic game. I love playing it, and I don't know whether you've heard of it before or whether you've played it before, but I'm going to give you 3 scenarios, and you've got to choose one of those scenarios that you think you would do. Now, some of the scenarios are quite silly, or they're quite very different, or they might put you in extreme kind of situations, but it really does get you thinking. Now, playing games like Would You Rather, or like we did through the keyhole the other session, or we did the odd one out and things like that. This is a game that will help you to justify your thinking. So that means to give reasons for why you think certain ways. And that's a brilliant tool to have when it comes to exploring different faiths and different worldviews. And it's an excellent tool to have under your belt when you're doing your RE learning. So hopefully you'll be able to gain something here from doing our game of Would You Rather. So in a minute, I'm going to share with you 3 different scenarios. And I want you to think about what your choice would be. You have to choose one of them. So here are the 3 scenarios. I'm just going to share the screen with you again. Here we go. So would you rather always have to do cartwheels out of a room? Always have to enter rooms by announcing your name, or always have to hop on one leg without switching whilst you are in a room? So let me say there's 3 scenarios again. You've got to choose one of them, but have a good reason as to why you would choose that one. So always have to enter rooms by announcing your name, always have to do cartwheels out of a room, or always have to hop on one leg without switching whilst you are in the room. Take some time to think. I don't know. I wonder whether you are a pronouncer. You like letting people know that you're coming in the room. Maybe that's something that you absolutely love doing. Or maybe you're quite active. Maybe you like doing cartwheels. I'm sure you've given that a good bit of thought. For me personally, I'd always have to enter a room by announcing my name. I think that's because I'm quite a loud, happy person. I don't mind letting people know that I've arrived. Maybe you've chosen the same one. If you have, then great. If you haven't, it doesn't matter, because there's no right answer with these kind of games, but it definitely gets you thinking. Maybe try these out with the adults or the other people in your home later today and see what they would choose and compare it with yours. Okay, right, now that we've had a little bit of fun, let me just stop us there. Hopefully it's got you warmed up. We're going to turn our thinking now to the Sikh community. Let's see if we can remember some of the things, the 5 promises that those Sikhs make. I'm going to pause here and either look back at your notes from yesterday or from the last session, or see if you can remind yourself, what are those 5 promises that those Sikhs make in order to join the Khalsa? As you're thinking, I'm just going to share them on the screen again. Here we go. Get rid of that. There we go. Okay, here they were. These are the 5 promises that Sikhs make when they join the Khalsa. So we've got that they make sure that they wear the 5Ks. So the 5Ks were those 5 special symbols that they wear on their body to remind them of the commitment that they're making to the Sikh path. To follow the teaching of the 10 Gurus and the Guru Granth Sahib. Now the 10 Gurus were they're like the living Gurus, the teachers that would live, and people would follow their teachings and they would go around following them and listening to them. And then the final Guru, which is known as the last living Guru, is their holy book, the Sikhs' special book that would be placed in the Gurdwara, which is the place of worship where Sikhs go to follow the Sikh path. And they would come and hear people read from the Guru Granth Sahib. So it's a really important thing that they are following. Accepting responsibility for service. We talked about that being so important for Sikhs. To abstain from drinking alcohol or smoking tobacco, and to respect women, and to work hard and to give to charity. These are all really important promises of the Khalsa, and it really shows the commitment that they have. This is something really special for Sikhs, and if they're not part of the Khalsa, then the whole Sikh religion, the Sikh faith, promotes the fact that they should be helping others and serving others. So I'm going to show you now something very special for Sikhs. Now, this is the act of Seva, which is the act of selfless service, basically serving others. Now, Sikh servers perform many kinds of voluntary service. They care for people, and they care for the Gurdwara, which is their place of worship, and they also care for the langar, which is their special kitchen facility that you can see on the picture here. You'll notice that people are sat on the floor and they're eating a meal, and you'll notice that there are men walking around, and there looks like some ladies as well in the picture, walking around and checking that the people are all happy with their food, part of their act of selfless service. So I'm going to show you some more pictures now, and I want you to have a think about the acts of selfless service that these Sikhs or people in the Sikh community demonstrate. And also, maybe the Sikhs are demonstrating this outside of their own community. You'll probably notice some where they're volunteering and sharing in the wider community, not just in their Sikh community. Another important part of Sikhism. So I want you to think really carefully about what sort of seva do Sikhs do. Let me share with you some pictures. Have a look here. What are people from the Sikh community doing? Jot down your thoughts now. What kind of service and seva can you see them doing? Fantastic. Now I'm just going to stop the share there. Could you notice the people there were not only just serving food, but they were helping them with taking bloods. So giving blood to help people who need the bloods in the hospitals. They were also helping people in remote villages with making sure that they had access to water and to food. So lots of different things that Sikhs do to show their selfless service, which is so important, and one of those 5 promises that you have to make to be part of the Khalsa. Now, Sikhs see sharing equally and equality as a very important part of being a Sikh and following the Sikh path. Being part of a Sikh community demonstrates that they are all one. They are all equal. No one should be above anyone else. Have a think. What does sharing equally mean? So that we can fully understand what sharing equally or equality means, I want you to think about a time where everything was not shared equally in your life. And why was it a problem? Pause the video here to jot down some thoughts on a piece of paper. So a time when things were not shared equally. Now, I want you to think about a time where things were shared equally. And why was that better? Now, if you have a brother or a sister, you will know how important it is to have things shared equally. I will always remember the time when, as a child, I was always asking for the same amount of sausages as my brother, my older brother, would have. Even though he was older than me, I demanded we should have the same amount as him, because it just feels better when we know that we've been treated fairly or the same. And I did get the same sausages after a couple of times of complaining. But hopefully you can see that. So compare the time that you were thinking of where things weren't shared equally and how that felt, those inner feelings, and then feel how that felt when there was a time when things were shared equally. It's so important that we recognise the importance of that. It just feels better when we know that we've been treated fairly or the same, even though we are unique and have our own ways of thinking. Great work and good thinking. Now, at the Gurdwara, there is a langar, which is known as the community kitchen. And I'm just going to show you a picture of that now. So not all Gurdwaras look like the picture of the one on the left, but inside every Gurdwara is this kitchen facility. And it's really, really important to Sikhs, because after each service that they might hold at the Gurdwara, where the Sikh community comes together, they then invite all the members of the community and the congregation and of the wider community in to their langar to eat together. It's an expression of their selfless service, their server, and sharing equally. And it's very important to the life of all Sikh communities. It shows that people of diverse backgrounds can eat together as they all belong to one family of God. Everyone is equal, old and young, rich and poor, girl and boy. The food is made and served by members of the congregation, and everyone takes part equally. Now, to help us really get our heads around what that actually looks like, I would like us now to watch a video clip. Now, I would like you to, in a minute, to pause the video, our video here. And then what you'll need to do is click on YouTube or open up another YouTube window, type in the following words, which I've put on my purple box here to help you: the Gurdwara, my life, my religion, BBC Teach. Type that into the search box. And then I've given the picture of the video that you should be able to find. It's only just over 3 minutes long. And just click play for that video. There are lots of BBC Teach videos out there though, so please make sure you click on the right one. But what I want you to do, and I'm going to watch it at the same time as you, I want you to watch the video and I want you to draw or just write down at least 3 things that you notice about sharing or equality. So I'm going to say that again. I want you to jot down 3 things that you notice about sharing or equality. Okay, so I'm going to pause here as well. I want you to pause as well and go off and watch that video, and we'll come back together in a second. Fantastic. I hope you enjoyed watching that video. What things were you able to draw out, or were you able to record? I've got my list here. I was jotting notes down as I was watching the video. I've got the phrase, everyone is welcome here. How amazing is that, to feel that you're so welcomed, that no one is left out? It links back to our learning that we were doing right at the start of our sessions. I thought about the fact that they cover their heads out of respect for everyone. So respect is really important. And there's the same rule for everyone, the idea of everyone's treated the same. The fact that they eat all together, really special for them. In the Langar, they feed all people, and all people volunteer from the Sikh community to help serve the people. They all sat on the floor, and that helps break down all the different barriers between old and young, rich and poor. The food is free, so that people who you know, can't afford to eat actually can be welcomed in and eat for free. And the phrase, all are equal in the eyes of God, is really quite special. And the act of server, the act of selfless service, is really, really special to them. I hope you jotted down some of those things as well. Now, in the Langar, everyone sits on the floor and eats the same food. And what does that tell us about how Sikhs regard other people? Have a think. Now, can you think of a meal that would be good to serve in the Langar? How would you tackle the fact that we've got some people who won't eat meat? So what kind of meal would you make sure that you would serve in the Langar? I wonder, have you thought about serving a vegetarian meal? That would make it really, really important. So not everyone eats meat. So it's really important that if you're including everyone, that you serve something that everyone can eat. So I've got a nice little creative task for you to do now. I'm just going to share my screen again, just so that you can see. On your last piece of paper, I would like you to draw a plate of food. And I would like you to design a meal that you would serve in the Langar. So I want you to consider, what would that meal be? Remember, not everyone eats meat, so it needs to be vegetarian. It needs to be something that everyone can eat. So foods that you think that everyone could sit down and eat. Don't go for funny or weird flavors. Go for flavors that you think actually people would really eat that. Maybe you could look up some vegetarian recipes in a recipe book. I can go to my recipe books, so I've got lots of them, and see if I could do it. Pause the video here and plan a meal for the Langar. Excellent choice of meal. If you have time later, why don't you go and help the adults in your home go and cook that meal together? Maybe they'll let you eat the meal whilst even sitting on the floor together. Give it a go. All equal today. I had a go at trying to draw, but mine was nowhere near as good as probably yours. But I've gone for one of my favourite vegetarian meals, a spinach and ricotta bake. Really yummy, really, really good to eat. And it includes, you know, no meat, so anyone and everyone could eat it. Now it's time to look at your helping hand. I wonder what we've learned from the Sikh community in our session today that will help us with our understanding and our learning about community. A big thing for me that I'm going to jot down on my next space of the finger is about the word equality and being treated fairly. I think that's really, really important. Why don't you pause the video here to write on your reflection, your helping hand. Excellent reflecting. That's what I've written on mine. Equality, being treated fairly. Really important aspect of living and being part of a community. Maybe you mentioned about the selfless service being an important part of being together in community. Hold on to your helping hands, because we'll need that again in our next lesson. Now, thank you so much for joining with me in today's session, and I will see you next time as we continue our RE community learning. Thank you. Bye.